This might be a bit of a mess or a bit of nonsense because I'm not sure I'm following all the rules, but it is what it is. Hello wolves, what's up? I hope you're good. So today we're here for a challenge. I believe the name is Telephone Book Cover Challenge kind of thing. So it's actually Marta, so a member of the Winter Pack on Patreon, who sent me two videos. The video of the creator, Elizabeth, I will link her channel down below, and also a creator who did the tag, and so it is Jen, and I will link her down below as well. So the tag is basically you have to pick the last book that was mentioned by another creator and then find 9 other books that you can link one to the other. So I have to find a book that has some kind of similarity to the last book that Jen, for instance, mentioned, and then go from there. It doesn't make any sense. I cannot explain anything, but hopefully you will find the similarities that my brain saw and the connections that I made. But let's just go for it, and thank you, Marta, for showing me the videos. So the last video I watched is from Jen, and she actually started with this book, which is a book I own, obviously, but I have not read it. I'm looking forward to it. I feel like October is gonna finally be the time I'm gonna get to it, but I really do love the heartsy autumnal kind of vibe that this book is giving me. From what I know, it is a fantasy, and it is about witches whom powers are connected to the seasons. And I don't know if it's like, oh, if you're a winter witch you can only use your power in winter, or if it is like linked to the weather, or if you are influencing the weather. I don't know what it is, but there is something going on and the powers are not working the way they should be or whatever. So I guess like climate change of some kind, but there is like some kind of mystery, I guess. So I don't know much about it. I heard many good things about it, so I'm looking forward to reading it, and I will at one point. Because of its autumnal vibe, I tried to find a book that had that autumnal vibe as well. It might be stretching a little bit, but you know what? It's my video. So I picked this one. So this one is a Wolf for a Spell. It has a beautiful like autumnal cover according to me. It's not like the same vibe as exactly, but I feel like you can see some similarities if you put the book upside down with the shape of the wolf, etc., whatever, and colors. But this is a middle grade fantasy, a retelling of like Ivan Tsarevich and the Grey Wolf, but also you have a little bit of Baba Yaga and everything. So it is like Russian folklore inspired, Slavic folklore inspired, and I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars because it has everything I love in a book, in a Slavic folklore middle grade book. I really enjoyed reading it. I loved everything about it. So this is actually the first one. I'm not even sure if I have to summarize everything, but just to give you a short synopsis of all the books. I don't think I've read all the books I'm going to mention. You probably know what I went for after that one, because wolf, so I got a wolf. So the Wolf Wilder is also like a middle grade Slavic folklore inspired book. I mean, not really Slavic folklore, it is happening in Russia, so it's not really Slavic folklore, but it is basically the story of her daughter, like a woman and her daughter living in the forest and being wolf wilders, which means that they're actually helping wolves to go back to nature, to go back to the wild, because in that city environment, country, whatever, people are actually adopting wolves because like they fancy having a wolf or whatever, because everyone has one, so they have one. But these are not pets. Wolves are not pets. So sometimes they ask wolf wilders to actually bring back the animal to the wilderness, and it's really sad. I cried, but beautiful. One of my favorite middle grade wolf related books. Then the vibe I went with is actually this one, because it's white and there is like some kind of unique element in the cover, you know, one main one. So I went for Malice, which is also one of my favorite books. It is an adult high epic fantasy, and I just loved everything about it. It is like a series of 4 books. I read them all back to back. I mean, not, I was read-alonging it. It actually took me 4 months to finish that series, but absolutely love it. And I fell in love with John Gwynn's writing style. Absolutely amazing. You need to read it. It has so many things in it that I actually loved. There is like a sidekick, like an animal sidekick that I absolutely loved. Like there are so many characters in it, but you get a solid background regarding all of them, and you can really tell them apart because they're all completely different. They're not like alike or whatever. You have families, you have friends, you have like royalty. There is some kind of prophecy that's going on, and the war is coming, and apparently there were no giants anymore on Earth where they are in the Banished Lands, but some giants are coming back, some creatures are coming back. So everything is like back to the old time, and the prophecy is kind of becoming like more and more important in it. And you have like some kind of chosen one in a way, but it's so much more than that because it's about all of them working together, and there are some big revelations and everything. I absolutely fell in love with it, so I will definitely recommend that series to a lot of people. So I went for the single element in the middle of the cover, which is like a sword here. Basically, I could have picked any book by Trisha Levenseller because they all have like one single like element in it, but I picked this one actually because I really do love that cover. I love all the covers, like these two are my favorites, but I love the colors of this one and how like fire it is. I really love the elements of that, and it really matches the story itself. So if you don't know Trisha Levenseller, she also wrote Daughter of the Pirate King, Daughter of the Siren Queen, and she adds to all her books that feminism, not detail, but feminism like main thing in her books, and I just love them. And here you have also some representation, like the main character suffers from social anxiety, like severe social anxiety, and I just loved reading about her and her sister. So another masterpiece in my opinion. Then from this one I went to this one because you can see like that the colors I kind of like not similar, but they kind of having like the same vibes, and there is some shiny on it. And here as well you can see, like, I hope you can see it on camera, some shininess, it's not a word, on it. So I picked that one, which is actually the sequel to the Unspoken Name. I have not read that series, so honestly I don't know what it is, but I got the beautiful broken binding editions with the spread edges, and it is like actually signed and numbered, so it's quite amazing. Oh, it has a map. Ooh, love it. It's quite, ooh, it's really well done. I love it. It's like not just a map, you can feel like it's like pieces of paper that were put like together. So I don't exactly know what it is, but it is an adult high fantasy, epic fantasy, and I do love the cover. The first one cover is also amazing, so I'm gonna be reading the first one, so the Unspoken Name, in July with the Howling Pack, and absolutely looking forward to it. But yeah, I just went for the color vibes. Then as you can see here in the middle there is like a snake, so I picked another reptile kind of scaly animal, and I went for the dragon. So the dragon here is from A Natural History of Dragons, and it is one of my favorite historical fantasy. There are like how many books? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books in that series, and then there is a 6th one that's actually following the granddaughter of our main character here, and it's about also feminism in some way, but it's about like our main character wanting to become a naturalist. So she wants to study dragons, but she cannot do that because she's only supposed to be a wife, a good mother, and blah blah blah, but that's not what she wants. And she's gonna find a husband that's gonna allow her to actually achieve that kind of goal, because he's also into dragons and everything, and dragons are part of the society, so they're not like magical creatures, they are just not well known, especially like the big species, because in the backyard they do have like tiny little dragons living, like the butterflies or whatever, so they're pretty common, but they don't know the big species living in more exotic places, let's say. So she wants to travel there and go, and actually this is a memoir, so sometimes you will have her voice as an older person being like, oh, I don't care, I can say whatever I want because I'm old now, and it's just like so fun. And also all the audiobooks are on Scribd, so I actually enjoyed all the audiobooks because I read them and listened to them. Really well done, like the voice, the narrator, really well done. So yeah. Then I honestly couldn't find anything that was not like a dragon, but I wanted to go with another like magical creature of some kind, but I didn't want to go with another dragon. And the only one that I could find was actually this one. So this one, there is like a white raven of some kind, a white eagle, yeah, more of an eagle, and it is through the white wood. It includes like Russian folklore, which I really enjoyed. The author also wrote Beyond a Darkened Shore, which I really enjoyed as well. So this one is like not a sequel, it's some kind of companion novel because some of the characters from the first book are here for a little bit. So I enjoyed that. I always love reading about characters I enjoyed reading about from another book, so I really loved that. So yeah, that's the vibe I went with. It is a YA fantasy. Here you can see like the bird kind of flying and nothing around it, so that's the vibe I went with, and a little bit like of the color, whatever, because I actually picked this one. So you can see like the bird is flying in the air, obviously, and there is like a tree, a willow in the middle of nowhere flying as well. It is like a horror, like cosmic horror book, which is a subgenre I discovered recently. I mean, I did not discover recently, I read it as Annihilation some time ago, and I just discovered that it was actually a subgenre, and I loved it. I ate that book, I loved everything about it. But it is cosmic horror, which means that it's not horror in the term that you're gonna see very scary things or whatever. It's not horror in a way that it is paranormal, there is some kind of ghost or whatever. It's horror in a way that it talks about the unexplained, and it talks about the things that you cannot really describe and see, and that's what's creepy about it, because you never know exactly what's going on, like in Annihilation or the bird, what is it, the bird cage, the bird box. Is that a movie and the book? You know, those kind of books where there is something creepy going on and very dangerous, but you don't know exactly what. So that's what it is. And basically you have a main character who just recently divorced from her husband, and she needs to move back to her mother, but she doesn't really want to. So her uncle is like, oh, you can move to my place. And she's moving there, and he actually owns like some kind of museum, but some kind of like not just beautiful museum, but a bit creepy as well. And she really enjoyed being there, and she's having like an okay time getting like over her divorce. And also she has a friend here, which I really enjoyed reading about, because they were really friends and that there was no romance at all, which I do appreciate in books. But some days something creepy is going on in that museum while she's alone, because her uncle needed like some kind of surgery, so she was supposed to handle the museum and the guests by herself, but something is going on, and that's the beginning of the creepiness. I did enjoy it. I didn't see it coming. Many did see it coming. I did not, but I did really love it, and I want to read more cosmic horror books now. Okay, so I went for the single element in the middle of it, a little bit of text, then the title, then the author, whatever. So I picked this one because obviously I had to pick a We Were Children book at one time. It wouldn't be my channel if I never mentioned it, if I didn't mention it in every single video. But that's the vibe I went for, you know, like the single main element in the middle of it, and it's like all fog, but there is like some kind of, I'm not gonna say. So it connects in some way, so I hope you can find the similarities. But yeah, I'm not gonna talk about it much because Heavy Hearted Away by Shannon Maguire, the We Were Children series, you know, with like portals leading kids to worlds they belong to. So this is, in this one, this is basically the story of the school for wayward children, who is actually collecting all the kids that went through doors and got back and cannot handle the fact that they got back, because all they want to do is to go back to the world that they found, that was actually made for them. You have also a compass that you can find online to help you find the kind of world you would end up in. I'm a logical and wicked girl, so I would end up in a world, if you have read the series, like in an absent dream. So yeah, I have a readathon that I created around it, and it is called the Readathon. It's gonna happen in January, and I just love these books. This is by far my favorite series ever. It's so special to me. And it was actually a game I played when I was a kid, to, you know, to go in the forest or whatever and just find a door and end up in a magical world. Like this one, like Terabithia, you know what I mean? Narnia, etc. So many other books. But yeah. And then the last one, I also went with some kind of like main point in the middle. I mean, I'm gonna show you here. You can see that there is like a round here, like the tree is like, it's like a door, but it's not a door. There is like a forest around that kind of door, and also the title has 4 words like this one. So that's why I picked it, In the Nightwood. And when I read that book, it was such a surprise because I was not expecting that. I don't know exactly what I was expecting, to be fair. But it's, if I remember well, it's about a couple who just lost their kid, so they're grieving, and they're moving somewhere else, like to an old house next to the forest or whatever, like really next to it. And at night, or sometimes, they will hear like voices or weird noises coming from the forest. And at the very beginning, I believe only the woman can hear them, and then the man can hear them as well. And it's all about that feeling that creepiness, creepy things can hide anywhere, but also it's the journey of grieving of those 2 main characters, and it's so deep. That's what I was not expecting, but I did really enjoy it, and I really do love like green. I love green, but there are details, I don't know if you can see, like just scratches of some kind. I do love these. But yeah, one of my favorite cover, to be fair. So yeah, let me know if you've read it, because I don't see many people talking about it. But yeah, well, that's it. So actually, if you want to do the tag, you should be starting with this book. I hope it's an easy one. I don't know, but yeah, that's the book you could start with. But yeah, that's it. Thank you, Marta, for actually making me discover this tag, and thank you to Jen for making the video, and the creator Elizabeth for creating it. I cannot wait to see everyone making some videos related to the tag. I don't know who wants to be tagged, and I don't know who has filmed it yet already or not, so I will tag anyone who wants to be tagged. Let me know in the comment if you want to be tagged, and I'm just gonna reply, you tagged. But yeah, I know it's lazy, but I don't know with the tag, and I always feel bad by tagging people, or tagging people who were already tagged and already did it or whatever. But yeah, it was fun, not that complicated to do, so I love it. It was a bit like tricky, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope my connections kind of made sense. If not, just let me know what you would have picked instead. Maybe I have the books and didn't think about it, or maybe I didn't even have the books, and I will obviously add them to my TBR. But yeah, well, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and be a part of the pack. Talk to me in the comment section as usual. And until next time, take care, wolves. Bye.